After the age of 60, blood flow through the body can drop by nearly 20–30% compared to midlife. Most people assume this is simply part of aging, but recent clinical findings suggest something far more important. Curious? In many cases, the decline in circulation isn't caused by age itself. It's caused by a silent combination of reduced muscle activity, stiffening blood vessels, chronic low-grade inflammation, and nerve compression along the spine. And here's what most people over 60 don't realize. Surprised. When blood flow slows down, the body begins sending subtle signals long before serious problems appear. Cold hands and feet, slower healing, persistent back or joint stiffness, fatigue during simple movement, reduced physical confidence, even mood and cognitive sharpness can be affected. But here's the encouraging part. Excited modern research in cardiovascular aging and neuromuscular health shows that circulation can improve at any age, sometimes dramatically, with the right daily habits. Not extreme workouts, not complicated routines, just a small number of targeted adjustments that restore the body's natural pumping and circulation mechanisms. Over the next several minutes, we'll walk through the science behind circulation after 60 and the practical strategies specialists now recommend to safely improve it. Because once you understand how blood flow really works in the aging body, everything changes. Let's start with the underlying physiology. Blood flow is not controlled by the heart alone. In fact, the heart accounts for only part of the circulation system. The muscles, arteries, veins, nervous system, and even the spine all work together to move blood efficiently through the body. But after 60, several biological shifts begin to interfere with this process. First, arterial stiffness increases. Over time, blood vessels gradually lose elasticity. Instead of expanding and contracting easily, they become more rigid. This makes it harder for blood to travel smoothly. Second, muscle mass declines. This is known medically as sarcopenia. Muscles act as secondary pumps that help move blood back toward the heart, especially in the legs. When muscle mass decreases, that pumping effect weakens. Third, inflammation slowly rises. Many adults over 60 experience what scientists call chronic low-grade inflammation. It's subtle, but it can damage the lining of blood vessels, reducing their ability to regulate circulation. And fourth, and often overlooked, spinal compression can interfere with nerve signaling that controls blood vessel dilation. Here's where it gets interesting. The nerves exiting the spine help regulate vascular tone, meaning how tightly or loosely blood vessels open. If those nerves become irritated due to posture, disc degeneration, or spinal stiffness, circulation can be affected. But this is where most people go wrong. They assume circulation problems can only be fixed with medication. In reality, many circulation improvements begin with movement and nervous system activation. And that brings us to the first major solution. Here's a fact that surprises many people. The calf muscles are often called the body's second heart. Every time the calf muscles contract, they squeeze veins and push blood upward against gravity. But if someone spends long hours sitting or stops walking regularly, this pump becomes less active, and circulation begins to slow. If you ignore this, here's what often happens. Blood starts pooling in the lower legs, swelling may appear, feet may feel colder, and fatigue during movement becomes more noticeable. Fortunately, restoring this pump is simple. Spine specialists and circulation experts often recommend 3 gentle movements that reactivate blood flow. First, calf raises, stand near a chair or wall for balance. Slowly rise onto your toes, hold for 2 seconds, then lower down. Repeat 10–15 times. This activates the calf pump and encourages venous return. Second, seated ankle pumps. While sitting, flex your feet upward toward the shin, then point the toes away. Repeat slowly for 30 seconds. This small motion helps circulate blood in the lower legs. Third, short daily walking intervals. Recent cardiovascular studies show that 3 10-minute walks per day can significantly improve circulation markers in older adults. The key is consistency. But here's where it gets more serious. Muscles alone cannot fully restore circulation if blood vessels themselves have become less responsive. For that, we need to look at endothelial health. Inside every blood vessel is a microscopic layer called the endothelium. This thin lining controls how vessels expand and relax. When the endothelium functions well, it releases nitric oxide, a molecule that tells blood vessels to widen. Wider vessels mean smoother circulation. But after 60, several things can reduce nitric oxide production: poor sleep, low physical activity, high sugar intake, chronic stress. Over time, vessels become less responsive, blood flow becomes less efficient, and tissues receive less oxygen. But here's the encouraging part. Endothelial function can improve surprisingly quickly with the right nutrition. Circulation researchers frequently highlight 3 food groups that naturally support nitric oxide production. Leafy greens, spinach, arugula, and kale contain natural nitrates that convert into nitric oxide in the body. Beets are one of the richest dietary sources of nitrates and have been shown to improve blood flow during exercise. Citrus fruits' vitamin C supports endothelial repair and helps protect blood vessels from oxidative stress. But this is where most people go wrong. They focus only on diet while ignoring hydration. Even mild dehydration thickens the blood slightly, making circulation less efficient. For older adults, maintaining hydration throughout the day is one of the simplest ways to support blood flow. But circulation is influenced by more than food and movement. There's another factor many specialists are now paying close attention to: the spine. Here's something rarely discussed outside medical circles. The spine houses the autonomic nerves that help regulate blood vessel function throughout the body. If spinal joints become stiff or compressed, those nerve signals may become less efficient. This doesn't always cause sharp pain. Sometimes the signs are subtle: reduced mobility, persistent stiffness, tension in the lower back or neck. But here's where it gets more serious. If nerve communication is disrupted, blood vessels may remain slightly constricted longer than they should, and circulation suffers. Spine specialists are increasingly recommending gentle mobility exercises for adults over 60, not aggressive stretching, just controlled movement. One example is the seated spinal rotation. Sit upright in a chair. Slowly rotate the upper body to one side while keeping the hips stable. Hold for 5 seconds. Repeat on the other side. Another helpful movement is the shoulder roll. Roll the shoulders slowly backward 10 times. This helps relieve tension in the upper spine and improves circulation to the neck and brain. These movements stimulate the nervous system and encourage normal vascular signaling. But circulation isn't just about structure. Hormones also play an important role. After the age of 60, several hormone levels naturally decline. One of the most important for circulation is testosterone in men and estrogen in women. Both hormones influence vascular flexibility and nitric oxide production. When levels decline, blood vessels may become slightly less responsive. Energy levels may drop. Muscle maintenance becomes more difficult. But here's what most people over 60 don't realize. Lifestyle habits can strongly influence hormone balance even later in life. Research shows 3 behaviors that support healthier hormone signaling. Strength training. Even light resistance training twice per week can help maintain hormone balance and muscle mass. Adequate sleep. Deep sleep supports hormone regulation and cellular repair. Healthy fats, omega-3 fats from fish, walnuts, and flax seeds support vascular and hormonal health. But if you ignore sleep, here's what happens. Stress hormones rise, inflammation increases, and circulation can worsen. Which brings us to another key factor: inflammation control. Inflammation is one of the most powerful disruptors of blood flow. It damages blood vessels, it stiffens arteries, and it interferes with the body's natural repair systems. But inflammation doesn't always feel dramatic. Often it shows up as chronic stiffness, joint discomfort, fatigue, or slow recovery after activity. Fortunately, lifestyle adjustments can significantly reduce it. Circulation experts frequently recommend anti-inflammatory foods. Fatty fish, berries, olive oil, and nuts support vascular health. Moderate physical activity. Even light movement helps reduce inflammatory markers. Sunlight exposure. Vitamin D plays a role in immune and vascular function. But here's the critical point. If someone experiences persistent swelling, severe pain, chest discomfort, or sudden circulation changes, medical evaluation is essential. Sometimes circulation problems are linked to conditions such as peripheral artery disease, diabetes, or cardiovascular disease. A physician can run simple tests to evaluate blood flow and vascular health. Ignoring those symptoms is never advisable. But for many adults over 60, the majority of circulation improvement comes from daily habits repeated consistently. Which brings us to the final message. Here's the truth many people discover too late. Circulation decline after 60 is not always permanent. The human body retains an incredible ability to adapt. Blood vessels can become more flexible, muscles can regain strength, nerve signaling can improve, and the heart responds quickly to consistent movement. The key is not intensity, it's consistency and awareness. Small actions, walking daily, supporting vascular nutrition, maintaining spinal mobility, prioritizing sleep, combine to produce meaningful change. Progress may begin quietly, warmer hands and feet, better endurance during movement, improved confidence in daily activity, and over time those changes build into something powerful: greater vitality, greater independence, and greater trust in the body's ability to support you through the decades ahead. If you found this discussion helpful, consider subscribing for more evidence-based health insights designed specifically for adults over 60, because informed decisions today can shape how you move, feel, and live tomorrow.